me, and today I'm talking about all the movies I saw in the month of September and October, which makes it a pretty long list. I don't know exactly how long, but the list is longer than I wanted, so I might not talk about every movie that much in detail, also because some have been a while since I've seen them, and yeah, I should have done this earlier. I just didn't have the time for it, and now I make the time for it. So here we are at the end of November, finally reviewing the September and October movies that I've seen. I said September and October movies that I've seen because none of these came out actually, and well, not true, there's some that came out actually in September and October, but for the rest, all of them are just like random movies. I watched quite a lot of like older movies, which it is something I haven't really done that much of, and there's a variety of genres, and yeah, November's gonna be less because I'm kind of in more of a like chick flick mood, so let me watch it. So yeah, hopefully we'll be getting a video of that in December, just the November movies, because otherwise it will be too much, you know. Let's just get started. The first movie I saw in September is Ghostbusters from 1984, so the original one, and I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. And yeah, I don't it's been so long since I've seen this movie, so I don't really remember too much from it, but what I do remember is that I just felt a little bit disappointed in it, and yeah, I was expecting something more. I didn't really laugh a lot. The romance felt very unnecessary and very weird, and I'm just like, why are we doing this? And yeah, wasn't the biggest fan of this movie. Then the next movie I saw is Peter Pan, the Disney movie, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. And yeah, I watched this movie because I read the book, so I wanted to rewatch this movie. I watched this when I was a kid and loved it, and I had like a storybook which had, I believe, Peter Pan and Pinocchio in it, and I would read Peter Pan like over and over because I loved it so much. Of course, that was like the Disney version, so I in September read the actual classic by J.M. Barrie, and I really enjoyed it. And then I watched this movie and also really enjoyed it. The kind of problem I only had, I liked the book more because there was just, I felt like there was more like magic in Neverland, and also this movie takes place in like a very short period of time, but in the book we're like gone for days, and I feel like it portrays like the magic of Neverland better, and I don't know, but I still really like this. I think this is actually a pretty great adaptation, considering especially how dark the source material is. I think this is a pretty faithful adaptation, and I think it's really fun. And besides, you know, they're not that great racial portrayal of Native Americans. Besides that, this movie has stood the test of time pretty well. The next movie I saw, well, it wasn't actually a movie, it was a documentary, and that's Jesy Nelson, Odd One Out, which this premiered on like BBC One, I believe, like one of the BBC channels in England in September, and my Twitter was full of people watching this. Like, I have never really caught up with Little Mix, like, I don't know, just never put that much attention to it, but I have heard a couple of the songs. I really like the songs I've heard, and I was just, because I heard so many things about this documentary, I was just curious. It's about Jesy Nelson, who is a member of Little Mix. In the beginning of the band, she was called the Fat One, and she was very much bullied online and harassed, and it's about that. It's about her experience, but also talking about like other people's experience, and just it's kind of a documentary to make people aware of online bullying. And I really liked it. I like the fact that the perspective wasn't just on Jesy or just celebrities. There was a perspective also on just like regular people and how they go through stuff like that. I really enjoyed the documentary. Documentaries I don't give a star rating because I feel weird. So, but I really enjoyed this one, and I highly recommend you go check it out because it's pretty great. Then the next movie I saw was Hotel Transylvania, which I give 5 stars. It's one of my favorite like animated movies. I love it so much, and it brings me joy every single time. I think this is like the 4th time I've seen it. But yeah, I recently got the DVD of the 3rd movie, so I just wanted to rewatch the first 2 and then watch the 3rd one for the first time, just because I really love this franchise. And I'm gonna talk about like the 2 and 3 in a minute as well. But Hotel Transylvania 1, I love. And the only reason I originally watched it was because I'm a huge Selena Gomez fan, and especially back in the day, like 2012, like I wanted to watch everything that Selena Gomez was in, so I watched this because Selena voices Mavis, and that's the only reason I watched it originally. But I loved it, and genuinely still do. It's a fun movie, and it talks about prejudice, and it talks about family, and it actually deals with a lot of more like mature themes, but like still in a very kid friendly way, in a way that kids understand, and it just is awesome. I highly recommend. Of course, after that I watched Hotel Transylvania 2, and yeah, this is a 4-star. I just liked it a little bit less, mainly because they pushed like a character I love more to the background, and in the third movie they did that even more. They just made him very redundant and annoying, and yeah, I'll talk about it later. But yeah, they made some changes to like characters, and I didn't like the changes that were made. And then also again, the plot is really interesting. It's mostly about parenting and also about family, but it's very much like adult stuff. You know, it's about parenting and about acceptance, and grandfather not wanting his grandson and daughter and stuff, moving away from them. And I applaud these movies for, especially the first two, for doing like some more adult themes but making it accessible to children. And I don't know, I like it a lot. And then the third movie, Hotel Transylvania 3 Summer Vacation, which is the first movie I saw in October, I gave it 3 stars because like, I still enjoyed it, but I felt like it was a huge step down from the first two movies. I feel like if this was a solo movie, you know, if it didn't come after like 2 amazing movies, then I would have liked it because it has a lot of things in it that I like, but it messes with established lore, it messes with characters I love, and just makes them absolutely redundant and annoying, and just like this is not who that character was in the previous movies, but oh well, go off. And it feels like different people worked on this movie than on the first two, which I know is not true, but it feels like it, like just a whole other crew got to make this movie, and it didn't feel right. And then also it didn't really deal with any like more mature themes. Like in the first 2 movies, it's not really like an evil they have to fight. It's just them coming over their own prejudices, kind of. That's what the first 2 movies are mostly about. But the third movie has the big evil, and this feels very cheesy and childlike. And again, maybe in another context, like different movie, I would have liked this movie, but just because I feel like standard wise it just dropped a lot with the third movie, and I didn't like it. The next movie I saw is Tarzan, which came out in 1999. I don't know why, but I've been in a mood to watch like old Disney movies, and this one is on Netflix, and I'm still in that mood, but I'm kind of holding back until Disney Plus comes to Belgium, because yeah, this one was on Netflix, so I decided to watch it. I don't think I ever watched it as a child. I'm not sure actually, because I mean, I know of Tarzan, but like I don't remember actually watching it. I don't remember really the plot. But yeah, I rewatched it. I watched it now. I don't know why I said rewatch, because I guess I'm not sure if I watched it in general. But I watched it, and I gave it 3 stars. It was pretty enjoyable, but I was missing something. It never really had moments that really pulled me in, and I was like excited to watch the movie, and it never really had moments where I'm just like, oh my god, this movie is so great. I don't know, it just never had that like magic for me, that Disney magic, and it was kind of disappointing. And also there's a lot of music in this, and I get that that's the Disney template, but I think this movie would have done better like taking out some of the music. The next movie I saw is Tall Girl, because I don't know, I gave this 1 star, obviously. I'll tell you why I watched this. Sabrina Carpenter. The only good part about this movie, the reason why I gave it 1 star and not 0. I love Sabrina Carpenter with my whole heart. She's amazing. Amazing singer, amazing songwriter, amazing actress. I love her to pieces. But this movie wasn't good. And I feel like I don't have to explain anything, because everyone knows at this point. You know, I knew at that point as well. I've seen some movie commentaries on it, and I still decided to watch it because Sabrina and Lynn Carpenter owns me. So yeah, I love Sabrina's part in this. I generally think she was the more interesting character, and I feel like we should have followed her instead. I'm going back to some older movies, and that's Monty Python and the Holy Grail, which I give 4 stars. I have been wanting to watch the Monty Python movies for like a while, but I just never got around to them because I'm scared. I'm scared that I wouldn't like them because they're so hyped. They're like seen as like the best comedy movies to ever exist. They're so hyped, and I was scared. But I'm a history major, and I have now a class about like the medieval times, and in that class clips from these movies have been shown to kind of like show a bit of a satire on what was actually happening. And I love those clips we saw, so I was like, okay, I gotta watch this movie. It's on Netflix. And I watched it, and I had a grand old time. I gave 4 stars because it just wasn't really a 5-star for me, because there were just a lot of moments that were a bit confusing and didn't really make sense. And since seeing the movie, I've seen a couple of interviews with like the cast, and hearing like the circumstances the movie was filmed in, I get it. Like I get why. And sometimes things were a bit confusing. Like if the circumstances in which they filmed it were better, I feel like this movie could have been a very great movie, and I could have given it 5 out of 5 stars. But I was now there was just some moments that were a bit confusing. And yeah, for the rest, I really enjoyed the movie. I think it's a great satire on like medieval times, and I can't wait to see Life of Brian, because I'm sure there will be an even better satire of things. And I don't know, movies like this just don't get made anymore, and it's kind of sad because it's really good. And then another rewatch, I rewatched Paddington, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. It's also one of those like feel good movies that just make me happy. And I again recently got the DVD for Paddington 2 that I hadn't seen yet, so I wanted to rewatch Paddington to watch Paddington 2, but it's like almost the end of November and I still haven't seen Paddington 2, so we'll see. But yeah, I like Paddington a lot. I originally watched this movie in cinemas on Christmas Eve with my best friend, so I have good memories attached to this movie. And I also feel like this is the perfect movie to watch around Christmas time because it's just so wholesome and cute, and it's a family movie. Everyone can enjoy it. I feel like kids would enjoy it more than adults, just because there's more like kids humor in it. But I feel also like for adults, it's pretty enjoyable. The only thing, my problem with it is it's kind of not something unique. It's very formulaic and something we've seen before, and it's just kind of sad because for the rest it's a very cute and wholesome movie, and I recommend it. Then I watched Breakfast at Tiffany's. I give 4 stars. Breakfast at Tiffany's is just one of those movies, again, like Monty Python, that I was so scared to watch because it's seen as such one of the greatest movies of all time. And that's why the reason why I don't watch a lot of old movies is because I'm scared that I won't like them, because they're such high praise and the scene is like the best movies of all time, and I'm just like, but I didn't like it. That's something I don't want to happen. Yeah, I watched Breakfast at Tiffany's and I actually really liked it, but I'm curious how it would be if it was made now. Like, I don't want a remake of it because I feel like they would stick too much to the original because it's such a classic if you would remake it now. But I know it's an adaptation from a book, and I've read something about the book a little bit, and I feel like if that book was for the first time be adapted now, how different it would be, because there's just a lot that just got kind of like not really censored but like glossed over a little bit because it just wasn't appropriate in the 60s. I feel like nowadays it might be less glossed over, I don't know. And also just like the very unnecessary Chinese character that was very unnecessary, very racist, and yeah, that could have been done better. I don't know, I don't even get why a character needed to be Chinese, like so heavily like stereotyped Chinese, because it didn't bring anything to the story, you know. And yeah. But for the rest, I still enjoyed it. I think there's some kind of magic in this movie, and I get why it's such a beloved movie, because once you start watching it, you can't stop. And even though there are problems with it in the moment of watching it, you don't really see them. You just are in like this magic, and you're in this world, and you're with the characters with them, and it's a great movie. Then we already arrived to the last movie I saw in October. That's Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which again is like an older movie. It's a like teen movie, and it's again one I've heard like a lot of great things about, but it isn't high classic status as some other movies I talked about today. I give this 3 stars. I don't know, again, this is one that I felt like there was nothing really wrong with it, but it also wasn't really anything spectacular. It just fell a bit flat, and I don't really have a lot to say about it. It's fun, I guess, but also at the same time it's very unrealistic, and I'm just like, none of this would actually work in real life. Like, none of it. Like, it's very annoying. But the characters are a lot of fun, and they play well with each other, and the story is a lot of fun, and it's fun to imagine, like, if you would be in a situation, what would you do, and like stuff like that. It's a fun premise, but it felt flat a little bit for me. That said, I managed to do it relatively quickly, I feel like. So, great. And yeah, in November there will be mostly Christmas movies, probably. I don't know. I've watched 4 movies this month already, and 3 of them were Christmas movies. So yeah, so watch out for that. November is gonna be a lot of like more lighter movies and more fun movies, because that's just what I'm in the mood for, because uni is stressing me out enough already. So yeah, that's it for today. If you watched any of these movies, let me know in the comments down below what you thought of them, as well as what are some of the movies you saw in the month of September and October. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.